You know, when this movie was first conceived by the late great Jeff Barnaby, one of the best directors in maritime history, I don't think he knew how respected it would be. Obviously, he was suffering from health ailments at the time, eventually passed away of cancer. But Jeff's dedication to this project is sort of a legacy. It's a celebration of his home region of Listugush and sort of a take on the first Salmon War in 1981, where the white people invaded Listugush over territorial rights for salmon, where the First Nation people there, the Mi'kmaq like me, were in the right, but the white people in Quebec, the legislative branch or like with the government branch, didn't want that to happen. And the old Charlie Van Horn, who asked for that bridge to be built between Quebec and Hamilton, and the opening scene of this movie is sort of an eagle kind of going his way through the bridge in different aspects to kind of predict what's going to happen in the movie. So today we're taking a short look, but a very interesting look at probably the most important movie ever filmed in New Brunswick and Quebec at the same time, because we consider this our hometown movie for those on the North Shore. If you haven't seen it, you should, and when you do see it, watch it more than once because there's a lot of craziness going on. Blood Quantum. Now, this 2019 Canadian horror film was written, directed, and edited by Jeff and starred Michael Grey Eyes, Maja Tail Feathers, Forrest Goodluck, Kiara Gordon, Brandon Oakes, Olivia Sriven, Kadawati, Devity Jacobs, and Gary Farmer. The film depicts the effects of a zombie uprising on a First Nations reserve whose residents are immune to contracting the plague because of indigenous heritage, but must still cope with the consequences of its effects on the world around them, including white refugees seeking shelter in reserve. The basic plot is the white people are the zombies, and the Indians are trying to exist. Now, Blood Quantum premiered at the 2019 Toronto Film Festival, where it was named second runner-up for the People's Choice Awards. It should have won number one because it was very well received at Midnight Madness. The film was made available for streaming on Shudder in the United States, UK, and Ireland on April 28, 2020. It's been a big streaming hit, and I think as of this writing or this presentation, it's available free in Canada on CBC Gem. It says received numerous positive reviews from critics and also received the most nominations of any film at the 9th Canadian Screen Awards with 10, ultimately winning 7 but not winning Best Picture. Now, in this one, in 81, ironically the same year again as the First Salmon War, on the Red Crow Indian Reservation in Quebec, Canada, fisherman Gisku catches a number of salmon and observes that they continue to move after being gutted. It's a very key scene because he's gutting the salmon, he's throwing to the side, and the salmon are going up and down. Pretty fucking scary scene. Elsewhere that morning, his son, Indigenous Sheriff Trailer, responds to a call about a dying dog that belongs to his ex-wife, Nurse Joss. Trailer eventually euthanizes the dog by gunshot. He goes to visit Josh and learns that their son Joseph has been arrested for vandalism and nearby Hollerbaster and is in jail with his half-brother Lysol. Trailer then visits Gisku, who shows him the gutted yet moving salmon. Josh's dead dog reanimates in the truck of Trailer's police car, and Trailer shoots it. Gizgu and the Trailer set the dog and the fish on fire. Now, there's animation at this point in the movie which gives away the plot in a certain way, like a spirit dream. Very, very effective, probably one of the most important opening scenes in Indigenous cinema of the last 20 years. Now, Trailer and Josh head into town to free Joseph from jail. Trailer, Joseph, Lysol, and police officer Shamu encounter an ill, violent man in the jail who bites Joseph on the arm. Joseph eventually goes to the hospital where his white pregnant girlfriend Charlie is waiting. And he says, it's the worst waiting room he's ever been in. This is kind of a reference to the old Hamilton hospital system of the 1980s because they were terrible back in the day. So technically they're going to Hamilton, which is just across from Listugush. That night, Trailer responds to a call from an Indigenous man named Shooker. Trailer enters Shooker's house and is attacked and bitten by Shooker's white girlfriend, whom Trailer beats with the butt of a shotgun. Trailer and Shooker head to the bridge where Josh, Joseph, and Charlie have found themselves after having escaped the hospital in an ambulance. 6 months later, the outbreak of flesh-eating Zeds has become widespread, and the Red Crow Reservation has been turned into a fortified compound. Very effective scenes of the zombies and the First Nation people interacting. Its residents have learned that Indigenous people cannot be infected by the Zed plague, though white people can. Lysol has become increasingly aggressive towards Joseph and others' tendencies to bring outsiders, such as a man and his young daughter, the latter of whom was bitten by an infected person, as well as a girl named Lilith, who hides the fact she is also being infected, to the compound. That night at Lysol's shelter away from the compound, Joseph finds the now zombified Lilith chewing on Lysol's penis as he's crying on the floor from pain. Anyone would. Joseph, Lysol, and Moon then drive back to the compound with Lilith in her restraints. Believing that the policy of letting in white survivors led to his disfigurement, Lysol snaps, stabbing Joseph with a knife, and lets Lilith loose inside the compound. Trailer and Gisku, who went on a mission to eliminate zombies at a gas station with fellow tribesmen Bumper and Shooker, return to the compound to find it overrun with zombies. They learn that Josh, Joseph, Charlie, and 8 other survivors are trapped in the basement of the compound. In the process of rescuing them, Shooker is able to drive away some of the survivors, but Trailer is eaten alive by zombies to allow his family to escape as they weren't able to get in the car in time. Now, Josh, Joseph, and Charlie escape with Gisku and Bumper, while Gisku and Joseph enter a church to stop 2 associates of Lysol from murdering a group of survivors. Lysol finds Josh, Charlie, and Bumper. Lysol backstabs Bumper, heavily wounding him, and Josh shoots Lysol, but not before Lysol is able to unleash a zombie from the trunk of the car. The zombie bites Charlie, and Joseph arrives and kills the zombie. Joseph and Gisku lead a wounded Lysol away from the scene, and Joseph stabs Lysol. Gisku lets off a gunshot into the air, alerting zombies to the location where Lysol is. The zombies proceed to eat Lysol alive. Now, there's a very, very important scene shot from above through the Listagush church grounds. Now, that church has been since burned down by allegedly arsonists as a response to whatever was going on, but it's a very effective scene because you basically see all the zombies running through the backyard, and this was near where the powwow area was in Listagush. Again, very much what Jeff wanted to present in an aspect of this is my home region, and I want to kind of have you look at it in a certain way. Now, in this one, do you think all hope is lost as the one remaining boat able to allow their escape is burning? Shooker with someone else comes back for them with 2 boats and takes Bumper with him while Joseph, Charlie, and Josh set out in a large body of water with the other boat. Jijigu, armed with a sword, stays behind the land to fight off the zombies and seems to survive, standing with the last zombie's head in his hand. On the boat, Charlie gives birth to a baby girl. Charlie, feeling she's about to succumb to her bite wound, asks Joseph to kill her before she transforms into a zombie, and he mournfully shoots her in the head. The survivors' boat continues to drift in the water, their fate unknown. Leave it open for a sequel, but again, with Jeff's passing, it's going to take a very big effort by his support group, or like I said, the people that work with him to get this done. Every scene of this movie is important. Every scene is there's not one wasted scene in the movie, and it's spoken in kind of our North Shore shorthand dialect, because we on the North Shore, we basically tell someone to fuck off when we like them. And the Aboriginal humor of Mi'kmaq, like myself, are highly reflected in some of the key scenes. Again, Michael Gray Eyes, El Maja Tail Feathers, Forrest Goodluck, Keo Gordon, Olivia Shriven, Stonehorse Lone Goldman, Brandon Oakes, William Belleau, Kanawati, Devaney Jacobs, Gary Farmer, Kent McQuaid, of course, Olivia Shrine from Degrassi, Kent McQuaid, Natalie Leconte, Felicia Schulman, Jason Kwan, and Tanner Zipshin as Gate Zombie. Now, Blood Quantum was filmed in 2018, primarily at the Kanawaki and Listagush Reserves in Quebec. Additional footage, again, was shot in the city of Campbellton, New Brunswick, and it is a very effective scene showing a computer-manipulated, not say skyline of Campbellton, but a baseline of the community on fire. The film's title refers to blood quantum laws, which have been used in the States and Canada to determine indigenous background based on the percentage of one's indigenous ancestry. Barnaby has described the film as offering commentary on colonialism. Now, the film is set in 1981 because that was the year in which a force of game wardens, fisheries officers, and Quebec provincial police dressed up almost like, no-name Nazis, raided Listagush, arresting and beating one of his members and confiscating their fishing equipment for salmon. Those members who were not incarcerated erected barricades, and in retaliation, the aforementioned authorities conducted a second raid. Of course, the second raid was ineffective because they didn't run the blockade. Now, in addition to zombie films, the film was also influenced by Incident Arrestugush, Lanza's Oba Swan, influential 84 documentary we can see on Hollywood Suite on a regular basis about the Listugush Rage, which Barney had all the actors watch before commencing production. And again, I covered the second Salmon War, as we say. It's fucked up over there, ladies and gentlemen. Certainty de Quebec threatened to arrest me when I was covering the second Salmon War, the second salmon conflict, because he said I didn't look like a journalist. Well, I said, I'm part Mi'kmaq, is that enough? And he said, well, there's no Mi'kmaq journalists. I said, yes, we are. He said, well, we're going to have to arrest you unless you don't show ID. He thought I had no ID, and I showed my Tribune ID card. Wasn't too pleased, ladies and gentlemen. That's all I can say. Certainty de Quebec and go fuck themselves. Now, that's what it is. We're from the North Shore. We don't give a fuck. Now, Blood Quantum was brought to the Cannes Film Market in May 2019 as part of Fantastic Seven, a program of genre films sponsored by various international film festivals. Were sponsored by TIFF. Its public world premiere took place at the 2009 Toronto TIFF, at TIFF Toronto, which was named second runner-up for, again, the People's Choice Award with Night Madness. The film, again, international distribution on Shudder, 2019, with Canadian streaming rights held by Crave, and now, of course, CBC Gem has it. On the review aggregator website Rotten Tomatoes, the film holds an approval rating of 90%, based on 94 reviews with an average rating of 7.2. The website critics' consensus reads, Blood Quantum blends bloody horror with social political subtext, taking a fresh bite out of the crowded zombie genre in the bargain. On Metacritic, the film has a weighted score of 63 of 100 based on 11 critics, indicating generally favorable reviews. Now, Elizabeth Vincitelli of New York Times gave the film a mostly positive review, writing that its central premise is inspired. When dead people come back to life, it turns out that indigenous folks are immune. Our sardonic twist on our ancestors coming to disease important by the European settlers. Matthew Mongley of the Austin Chronicle gave this film a score of 3.5 stars out of 5 and wrote that it rejects the default white gaze of so many horror films, choosing to tell a story through an unapologetically indigenous lens. Joy Lipschitz of Bloody Disgusting wrote that Blood Quantum serves both as a reasonably entertaining zombie film, but more importantly, as a vital social political critique of real historical events in Canada. Shay Vassar, a Cherokee Nation staff writer of Film Days, wrote that Barnaby is ushering a new era of Indigenous filmmaking while still addressing some of the post-colonial pain that exists within communities today. Blood Quantum is a refreshing break from the same sad drama that is usually regurgitated when filmmakers, even those from Indigenous or Native background, attempt to talk about the Indian experience. Now, The Guardian Benjamin Lee gave it 3 stars out of 5. Now, RogerEbert.com didn't really like it, only gave it 2.5 out of 4, criticizing it for poor performances and awkward dialogue. Well, that's our style, man. Now, and David Ulrich of IndieWire only gave it a C+, but when it works, it works. Now, Canadian Screen Awards, again, did not get a Best Director or Best Film nomination. Okay. Michael Grey Eyes won Best Actor. Original Screenplay, Jeff got nominated. Best Art Production, Production Design, Louis Chabas and Sylvia Labatterie won. Best Cinematography, Michael St. Martin nominated. Best Costume Design, Best Editing, Best Makeup, and they won. Best Casting in a Film, Brenny Haynes was nominated. Best Visual Effects, it won. And Best Stunt Coordination, they won as well. So, director and picture, explain it to me. Anyway, 2019 Vancouver International Film Festival, Best Canadian Film, and the Prix Iris, June 6, 2021, won for Best Makeup, but nominated for Art Direction, Costume Design, Hair, and Visual Effects. So, the Irish awards were pretty strong. Now, Jeff has passed away, obviously, a rough battle with cancer. But as a person of the North Shore of New Brunswick, knowing the history of the Van Horn Bridge, knowing the history of how Mi'kmaqs, you said on George Stephanopoulos, talking about how Indians are fighters. Jeff Barnaby in Rhymes for Young Ghouls is another one too. Jeff Barnaby was deep in our culture up home for reserve and off-reserve Métis and what they call Eastern Indians and status Indians. We always looked out for each other. When this movie came out, I was just so proud that he continued to put us on the map. And his passing and Candy Palmer, our entertainer from Eel Bar just down the road, 15, 20 miles down the road towards Rescouche side. What a huge loss. It's not good to lose your heroes like Jeff Barnaby and Candy Palmer, because Candy and Jeff might have done projects together down the road where Candy's her autobiography was released posthumously. But Jeff Barnaby, if you're going to do anything, read about his history, how he became one of the most important East Coast filmmakers in Canadian history in a short time at a cert. But like I said, the Barnabys and like all the families on Listagush are proud of who they are. Especially, you look at the Bilbois, you look at the what do you call them, the mixed families too, where there's Aboriginal majority but there's white people within their family. We all look out for each other up home. And when this movie came out, again, we knew that what Jeff did was going to resonate. We didn't know how sick he was when the movie came out because we knew he was suffering from health problems. But Blood Quantum at only 93 minutes. There might be an extended cut down the road. I heard there's a 2-hour version of there someplace. I don't know. But what Jeff left us, just like the great directors of all time, but it's the loss of what he could have done. Because he could have talked about maybe redoing the Donald Marshall movie. He could have redone something from his own script. He wasn't just an Aboriginal filmmaker. He liked the mixed genres, horror or family comedy and stuff like that. But but at the first of Blood Quantum, it's freaky as hell. Like imagine you grew up, let's say, by a 1 kilometer bridge in your hometown in Iowa or Montana or whatever, and you make a horror movie of that, and there's a fucking eagle that's flying through like a spirit animal. Like it's fucking crazy, man. Like I said, you look at that and you say, is this for real? He is putting in my mind what I could see for that. And Charlie Van Horn was more white than anybody else. He called, when he was running against Louis Robichaud, he called Louis Robichaud a fucking half-breed, man. Strange. But their scenes in Blood Quantum are that funny, and like most good zombie movies, there's going to be some comedy scenes. I give Blood Quantum, I can't give it out of 5. I give it 8 out of 10. The only problem is it's too short. Another 10 or 15 minutes would expand it on the characters a little bit, and the time snap from when the zombie curse was coming in and what they call the enclave or the siege. There should have been more background. But there's some scenes in there, ladies and gentlemen, like I said, it's scared the living shit out of you. Because, it is a... See, we don't consider Listagush part of Quebec. We consider it part of New Brunswick. They've been fighters, because Listagush is us. So, I mean, Northern New Brunswick. We don't part... You're from Northern New Brunswick. Our border ends in Listagush, pretty much. We don't consider Southern New Brunswick part of Northern New Brunswick. We're our own region up there, Eel Bar and everybody else. So, Pabineau and stuff like that. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you like what we're doing here with our movie reviews, let us know with a like, comment, subscribe, or share. Sorry to be so personal with this, but I can't be objective about Blood Quantum because it's a movie I would have done myself if I was smart as Jeff Barnaby. I would do something on Jack River and Lauren, but I wouldn't have done it with zombies. I would have done it like a bad version of The Outsiders with arsonists and people stealing bird's eye maple. That's another story altogether. Go on YouTube, land and see Lauren. They did a story on they were setting fires on Lauren to make jobs. Go. That's a movie should be made. I was hoping Jeff, maybe you could talk to Jeff making a documentary on that down the road, but he died before I even could bring it up with him. So it is what it is. He's missed, man. He's missed. Have a good one. Bye.